finally, book 14 is going to be the beginning of the climax to the epic story for Shadows of Angmar. So we're going to be sort of bringing that story to a conclusion. And I guess the question becomes why, and what happens after we bring that story to a conclusion? What's the next story? And that's something that we're excited to talk about today. Really excited. Tremendously excited. There we go.
Undisturbed. Men and dwarves dread the name Moria. Product not yet.
So obviously we're really excited to be able to talk about this. We've been working on this for quite some time. This is the first expansion of Lord of the Rings Online. It's coming out at the end of this year. It's going to Moria. Now there's a couple other places that you're going to be going in the expansion. I'll talk about those in a minute, but the important thing really for us is that it's time for us to move out of Eriador, across the Misty Mountains, and into really the parts of Middle-earth that become even more exciting. Eriador's been fantastic for the game. Angmar's been in a really exciting place. And as we begin to move through the Misty Mountains, I think we all know that that's where the heart of the story is really happening. And so that it opens up all kinds of possibilities for the game. We've been dying to actually get to this point in time. So we're going to take you into Moria, and you may recognize these as the gates to Moria. We are in the process of building these right now. Some of these images are renders from the environments that we're beginning to create. Some of them are obviously concepts. So as I said, fall 2008, and it's going to be focused a lot, although there will be ways in which you can participate in Moria if you're a lower level, but mostly focused on the higher level players who work so hard through the content in Eriador and are looking for that next big challenge. And we want Moria to be a place unlike any other place that you've ever gone in any kind of fantasy game or MMO. So from the moment you step inside, this is a place that's got an environment, an experience, a story, which we all know, that's stronger, deeper than anything you've been able to do before. So you're entering Moria after the Fellowship has passed through, and they've stirred up a lot in Moria in their passage, and you've been sent in there to kind of deal with the mess. It's going to be a pretty interesting place to go into, and you may be high level, but you'll find you're not high level enough. So of course, we're adding 10 new levels to the game. You'll be expanding your advancement curve to level 60, and that affects all the systems in the game. 10 levels is it's a small number, but when you think about the fact that this is going to be driving content in crafting, in your skills, in reputation, in pretty much every advancement path in the game, deeds and traits, all the rewards and titles, that's all going to be driven forward through this level expansion. We're adding 2 complete new classes for this Moria, the Warden and the Runekeeper. And we can start speculating about what that means right now. I'm not going to go into great details about those classes, but over the next couple months we're going to be talking a lot about Moria, and we'll be divulging more and more information about these classes. But let's just say they're going to be very cool, unique experiences for players, give you another path through Lord of the Rings Online that rounds out the whole class structure that we have right now. Some kind of nice loot that you can find in Moria, as you would imagine. If you talk about going into places in an MMO to get some really cool stuff, I can't think of anywhere cooler than going into Moria and getting ancient artifacts that have been in there since the beginning of time, and dwarven equipment and weapons and very powerful things. I mean, this is going to be the place to go to get the coolest stuff that you can imagine. 3 new regions, as I said. We'll be expanding on Arabian, which we're starting in Book 14, which leads you up to the gate. And then Moria itself, which will be gigantic. And then as you pass through Moria, you're going to go recover a little bit in Lorien, Mount Lorien, where the Fellowship will be. So you'll actually be joining the Fellowship in Lorien. And we're really excited about that. Some things we're doing in order to make Moria cool, player lights. We're going to do some more of the world-changing instances that we did earlier on in the game, so that things that you do in Moria in certain areas will actually change the environment for you. And then expanding on some of the work we're doing with AI, so that in the new biomes and areas in Moria, the creatures themselves will feel like they are from those environments. They'll use the environments in their tactics. So if it's a water-based area, for example, you can see some of those characters using the water to their advantage. And of course, some pretty cool bosses. You will be face-to-face with the Watcher. There's a pretty cool experience that you have to deal with your party. And this guy's the Balrog. This is actually a render of a model that we're in the process of building for the game. So this is kind of what the Balrog's going to look like. I won't talk about precisely how you're going to encounter the Balrog, but it's very, very cool. And it's going to be an experience that people are not going to forget anytime soon. And then there's a lot of creatures that people may not have heard of that Tolkien talks about as the sort of the nameless creatures in the depths below. And we're going to send you into the depths below, and you're going to have a pretty tough time, but a fun time dealing with some of the creatures you encounter there. Moria itself is this gigantic, underground, amazing place. It's the way it was depicted, it's what everyone expects, and we're doing everything we know how to do, leveraging everything that we've done today, and a whole bunch of technology and things that we put into the game over the last year and we've been working on in order to make sure that this space feels different than anything you've ever experienced before. It's going to be gigantic. It's a big, huge underground space. There is no teleporting from room to room. It is one contiguous space. You'll be able to walk all through Moria without having to teleport. So it's going to be an amazing place to be. And there's a lot of history and things, richness and depth to Moria that people hear about, you know, even in movies when you hear Gimli talk about, you know, you should have seen this place. It's an amazing place. There was this, there was that, and there was this other thing, this whole city. You're going to go to those places. You're going to see them. You're going to see the grandeur that was Moria. And all along the way, you'll be dealing with all the monsters that have been stirred up while the Fellowship passes through. And then when you've gotten through all that, actually on the way to doing that, you'll be passing through Arabian. And that's going to be a big, giant killing field for high-level players. And you'll go back out there even after you've been in Moria. As you pass through, you'll move on to Lorien. So imagine getting to Lorien, meeting Lady Galadriel, talking about cool loot. You're going to be getting gifts given to you for your work in Moria by Lady Galadriel. And again, another reputation faction, the Elves of Lorien. So there'll be some cool stuff there, probably reputation area, and definitely new cool stuff that you get for getting reputation with those elves. One of the features that we're most excited about is what we're calling legendary items. It's basically an item advancement system. And we're adding that on top of the existing advancement system that we have in the game, traits and deeds and skills. This is a whole other dimension to your experience in advancing your character and your world in Middle-earth. Basically, you get a weapon, or a piece of armor, or a shield, and it has its own advancement path. It has XP. It has deeds. You grow it almost like a pet alongside you, your clan trait that has its own history